Today's video is all about exploring the AI viral trend of animation and what's been happening with regard to the Ghibli effect. As you all know, there has been a lot of images trending in social media with great animation work, largely AI generated, but in the style of Studio Ghibli, which is an animation studio in Japan, started by and pioneered by Miyazaki, who is super famous for his work. Now, obviously, there's been a lot of debate on AI trends, including the Barbie trend, right? So you have a lot of Barbie doll-inspired AI as well that's been trending, and there's been a lot of issues around it. So let's break this down into a couple of things. Now, obviously, Japan's lawmakers are looking at this quite closely because they're saying that if you are creating an AI image like that, like Studio Ghibli's work, you need to have a human element to it, and you need to be able to show that human element has added some sort of creativity to it for it to be registrable or protected under copyright laws. Because what's typically happening is that copying of other studios' work, generating these AI images and using all these AI tools is causing, number one, privacy concerns, because you could be using my image and doing this, or you could be using various images from, say, your work and compromising some of the privacy issues around, say, your work IT systems. Secondly, there could be a lot of ethical considerations, because obviously if you are an artist and you've worked super hard your whole life to create all of this animation, and as we know, in Japan, the anime market is absolutely crazy and there is a cult following around it, then you are compromising your livelihood. And also, what does it mean when your life work is put out there and in 2 minutes somebody can copy AI images or create a whole mood board or a whole storybook around a style that you might have pioneered and created? So obviously, there is a risk for all artists and their livelihood as a result. And I guess one of the other things I would say in this regard is the fact that the law hasn't yet caught up, but the law always does catch up. So anybody in using these types of images or using animation must do so responsibly. And Mattel and the US lawmakers are looking at this and saying any human element should be part of this process for it to be registrable or copyrightable. I mean, I did a video before on a specialist camel artist who drew animated camels in the Middle East, and her work was copied way back. I am talking 23 years back when I was representing her, and the Copyright Office said that basically her work was only protected to the extent of the colors and the images she used, but if a human had changed the face of the camel or the tail of the camel or some of the colors around it, then effectively we couldn't sue the publication because it wasn't identical. This is way back. So the great thing about copyright and trademark law is there is some level of harmonization across the world. There is a harmonization of classification under trademark law where you register your trademark. So for example, legal services, for you, example, luxury or shoes or marketplace or whatever the category might be. So there's services categories and goods categories. And then there's obviously copyright law, which whilst is interpreted differently and each country has their own copyright law, the general premise of how copyright works is similar. So I'm all for AI, as I love the fact that technology is moving at such a fast pace, but you cannot do it at the cost of someone's livelihood, and you cannot create something that notionally you say you created but is AI generated. So watch this space. I'm sure there's going to be more viral trends around more cartoon characters and more animations and more video games, etc. So we will be here to watch it. Japan's lawmakers are watching it, the US lawmakers are watching it, and obviously here in the Middle East, we see all these trends on TikTok and Instagram, etc. So we're watching it. So that's my take on AI generated images and what's happening around us. Thank you so much for watching. Post responsibly. Be aware of the copyright around things and images. Thank you so much.